welcome to Turn Wright Machine Works. My name is Keith. You know, when I started in the machining work and was an apprentice in the yard, one of the first things I made was an extra long tap handle, because so many times I needed to reach down in around something, or you were tapping a hole that was down in past something. Well, I brought this out, but this is really too short to do the job in here. But I wanted to show you that you can take and part off your pull out your stem, part it off, make a tube. You can do a nice weld prep both ends and then buff it out, and that's how I made that extended tap handle. Now I have some square heads, and it just happens to be a nice 1/4-inch square head socket, and or a square drive socket, and then I got a couple extensions here, and I think we're going to get in there just fine. All right, I did pull out that pin already, and we're tapping into steel. That's a steel plate, so I'm putting some fluid on here. If I was just going in cast, I wouldn't bother doing it. Now the cast has already got a thread in it, so that's why this is really gonna work well, because we're gonna be guiding that. So there's a little bit of play that's in the end of here, shouldn't affect it. And actually, before I want to make sure it's screwing in freely. Yep, that's looking good. Okay, I'm going to squirt a little bit of tapping fluid through the hole here, and I can feel the tip of the taps in there. And this is like a gun tap, so it's going to be pushing the cut of the threads out the front of the hole down there. Yeah, it's already starting to push that in. I'm gonna bring you around so you can watch the tap come out that end. Okay, I felt the tab bottom out on this side here. Okay, we blew it out from the other side, and I'm gonna run this in there. You know what, we're probably gonna have to run a washer on there, just because the threads, that's what I thought. The threads don't go 100% down to the threads on these, or head. All right, so we'll get a washer there and get that back in. Then we're going to tap out the other side. Okay, I turned this aluminum slug with a 1/2-inch reamed hole, so we got our wiggler in here. This is a 1/2-inch holder, so it runs true. Let me see. That runs true, so we're gonna insert this like we did on the tiller head job there, and we're gonna slip this in the hole, and then we're gonna adjust it till we're lined up. Now, I put wraps of red tape on here because I turned this the same diameter as the bearing OD, and it's set for clearance, so I just kept wrapping electrical tape around until I took up the clearance, and had it so it wouldn't rock back and forth, and I got it lightly clamped in there to give us a real close center for our cutout, or our clearance cut for the bearing. Alright, now we got our C-clamp on here. Just want to make sure that's snug, okay? We can rotate it. Now you can see we're off down here. We're low. Actually, the table's low. It still needs to come up. Alright, and side to side. Pretty hard to tell. It might be this way here, so I'm just going to give it just a whisker there. Okay, now we can still feel some there, so I have to put my finger on it and crank the table up until down just a little bit. Okay, that feels good. Okay, we still got to go that way some. I can feel it over here, right there. There we go. All right. I'm calling that 0 and lined up. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to back out of here, and you can see that's reasonable right there. Okay, we're going to pull this out of here. We're going to get our drill chuck in. We're going to drop the guide out. We're going to put our plate in, and we're going to drill a locating hole. All right, we had fun on the bore, and we just came over and located this hole here. We measured down as 1 5/16 this way here on the nut. See, we needed to get this in here and this in here because we're going to hand shape this out here, because this comes in real close. There's an area. I mean, on ball screws, they don't give you much room right in there for that bolt. You know, you could see both of those. This one here's got clearance because of that, but those ball tubes there come real close. So we went ahead and we drilled that out, and now we're gonna tap it. Okay, now we're going to come over and we'll drill the other one here. Okay, all we should have to do is speed this up here and come on back to 0. There we go. All right, switch over to an end mill here, and we're just gonna, I think we're gonna take one of the 5/16 socket heads, and we're gonna put it down in here and draw around the head, and then we'll just kind of like shape it to the line, and we'll hand sand it. Okay. All right, we're just gonna rough it out to our scribed line. We're leaving just a little bit of room for sand, and we're going to be fairing it out a little bit shallower than scribing like right in there. We're just going to like fade it out. Alright, now we'll go pick up the other side here. I can see on this side better. Okay. We should be able to sand that. That's just a little tiny bit of a radius, but that's going to be the at least the width or diameter of the head there on both sides. And then it's just got to fair out here. Those ball tubes are real close in here. All right, we went in and we sanded our radiuses here, and you can see I got some good play in here. But we brought it in here when we first sanded it. We still were teat around the tubes here, and I went back and I removed a little bit more. Now these screws. I'll bring you around to the other side here. All right, these screws right here all thread real easy, and you can see how much you don't have diddly there. You know, you do over here at this angle, but when you're sliding it over, it's still got a clear there. And when it's in the final resting spot, you don't want to be crushing that tube. Those balls are made to go in and out. He's got this locked down. He was smart about that. You don't want to let one of these things go. They're not fun to pack. They can be, but they're not fun. All right, let's mount our plate back into the fixture there, or our resting spot, and see what it looks like. Hey, what was that? Was that supposed to come out smooth and matching? Closer than a frog's hair. Well, let's zoom in the hole and look at it from the inside there. Pretty hard to get a focus on a straight circle or bore there, but I'd say she's pretty close.